Hello and welcome to the 6th episode of our video series covering the Everest Base Camp Trail. Today is day 8 of our journey. Today we will start at 5:30 a.m. after breakfast from the town of Lobuche and we will reach a town called as Gorakshep. There we will rest for a little bit, have our lunch, and from there we will start our hike to the Everest Base Camp. We target to reach Everest Base Camp at around 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. So we have a good hearty breakfast in the morning and then we get ready for the hike from Lobuche to Gorakshep.
This day we will head to EBC today. We will get ready. It is 5:30 a.m. Everyone had breakfast. And
Hey, today is the EBC day.
EBC day. Hey Vijay. Hello Shankar.
EBC day, yes.
Nara sir. Anand. Chini. And myself, Maria. Wait, about exotic breakfast, you can see.
This is the elevation profile of our hike from Lobuche to Gorakshep. It's a bit of a hill and it's more than 3 miles in distance and we will be gaining more than 800 feet as part of our hike from Lobuche to Gorakshep. Whereas the hike from Gorakshep to EBC is relatively easier. As you can see here in the elevation profile, it's not as steep as the hike to Gorakshep. It's more than 2.5 miles long and we will be gaining about 500 feet in elevation. As you can see, while we were getting ready, it was still dark outside and the sun was just beginning to come out. During this time of the day, it was so cold that the water in our hydration packs literally froze and we couldn't drink water for about 45 minutes to 1 hour.
We are on the way from Lobuche to EBC. So
as you can see here, the trail is pretty rugged, and since we were hiking very early in the morning, it was really cold and really windy, which made our lives even harder.
on the way to EBC, we just climbed this steep hill and we are taking a little rest before proceeding further. A lot of people are going to EBC today. A place called Gorakshep. This is the last place where we can get food and lodging before Everest Base Camp. This is where we are going to have lunch today and then proceed to EBC.
After a 3-kilometer hike from Lobuche, we finally reached the town of Gorakshep after about 3 to 4 hours. But we still had 3 more kilometers to get to Everest Base Camp. But for now, we were going to rest and have lunch.
So we are having lunch before the last trek to EBC. This is a Gorakshep. Vishnu, what are you having?
Fried rice with eggs.
Egg fried rice.
Veg noodle soup.
Nara sir, what are you having?
Veg fried rice.
And then,
Veg fried rice with mixer.
okay. Srini, what are you having?
Turmeric rice, veg fried rice with mixture.
Okay. Vijay,
Mushroom noodle soup.
sorry. Mushroom noodle soup. Okay.
This is the muruku from Grand Sweets, Chennai.
Having Tara noodle soup.
After lunch and a 15-minute break, we started our journey again and we got back on our trail on the way to the Everest base camp. The trail up to Gorakshep was pretty hard and cold, but after sunrise and after our lunch, the terrain became relatively easy to navigate. As you can see here, this is a pretty much alien looking environment cut through by these small streams of life-giving water. At this place, we realize the importance of the only planet that we call home, planet Earth.
Coming here, but above there, nothing. Nothing. In the whole reserve, and above this glaciers, glacier net. Glaciers. But, see, water, rushing water, and it's ice cold water. Glacier net.
After about 2 hours of hiking from Gorakshep, we finally had the Everest base camp in our sights.
You can see the EBC. It's a lake. It's a frozen lake here. We reached Everest base camp at 1:30 p.m. You can see Everest, Mount Everest from here. And other mountains around me.
So this is the Kumbo Glacier. It used to flow all the way into this valley, but it has receded over the years to just about to the Everest base camp. And then what you've been waiting for, right in the middle over there, is Sagarmatha, Mount Everest.
8 of us, starting from Kathmandu 8 days ago, finally made it to the Everest base camp. It's simply not a feeling that you can put it in words to stand under the shadow of Mount Everest. A shout out to the CSK hikers. There is truly spellbinding beauty anywhere you look at this place. As much as we would like to stay at the Everest base camp forever, it was beginning to get colder and darker. We took the last remaining pictures at the Everest base camp with all our friends and acquaintances, and then we started our journey back to Gorakshep. It was a physically grueling day, but it was well worth it. Here is a bit of a graphic just to illustrate the effort involved in hiking to the Everest base camp. Across the 8 days of hiking, all of us had well over 100,000 steps under our belts. In terms of the number of steps taken as the whole group on any given day, the hike to Namche Bazaar from Phakding was the top of the list, followed closely by the hike to the Everest base camp from Lobuche. In this graphic, you can see our maximum daily heart rates in beats per minute. During the beginning of the hike to Phakding and Namche, our heart rates hovered around 180 mark maximums, and then it kind of settles down into the 150s and 160s range. We all rested for the night in Gorakshep after a good dinner. The next day, on day 9, Shankar, Anand and Neil flew out of Gorakshep to Lukla airport on board to Kathmandu as was originally planned. Nara and Srini flew out of Gorakshep to Gokyo Lakes. Myself, Katie and Vishnu started our hike back down the Everest base camp trail. We traced pretty much the same trail we had come up on all the way from Lukla to Everest base camp. Here we are crossing Namche and the Sagarmatha National Park and the town of Phakding. The food got much better as we climbed down the trail. After 5 days of hiking downhill and some well-deserved rest in between, we finally reached the town of Lukla. Here, we look like 3 happy kids ready to board the flight from Lukla to Namche. We left Lukla on board what is considered the most dangerous flight in the whole world. Here you can see the anxious passengers awaiting the landing. After reaching Namche, we got on our road trip from Namche to Kathmandu. We had some good food on the way from Namche to Kathmandu. Here you can see some relieved faces after having completed the Everest base camp hike. On this journey, some old friendships were rejuvenated and new lifelong friendships were forged. We also enjoyed the boundless beauty of nature that's existing around us in our everyday lives. And we also learn to appreciate the luxuries that we have in our everyday lives. Thank you for watching my video of the Everest Base Camp Trail. We'll see you in my next adventure.